Hello there. My name is Max Carter, and I'm delighted to be here. A big thank you to the wonderful team and the DIDAC event. And it's my first time in India and in Bangalore, and I'm having a really wonderful time. I'm here because I work for a UK-based education software company. We're called Century Tech, and our founder, Priya Lakhani, created the company with a sort of a twofold vision. One was to reduce teacher workload, but also the second one, and perhaps more importantly, was to deliver personalised learning to every single student. And after a long time of research and development, we designed and created this wonderful AI-powered recommendation engine, which is able to deliver that personal learning to every single student. But today I'm not here specifically to talk about Century. I'm here to talk about how the role of AI technology is going to empower teachers or going into the 21st century. Now, in order to kind of frame this discussion, I wanted to initially to talk about one of the great challenges that all teachers face in their classroom. Now, I've spent a long time as a geography teacher in UK schools. I was a school leader, head of department for 11 years, before my passion for technology and its transformative capabilities in education took me into the EdTech sector. But I think if I was to ask what is the great challenge that teachers face or have faced in the past and face today and are going to face in the future, it would be that of delivering that personalised learning to students. And I think it's here that technology and specifically AI technology has a vital role to play as we look forward to teaching in the 21st century. And so the big challenge, as I see it, in teaching is the ability for a teacher who is often outnumbered as much as 30 or 40 to 1 in the classroom. How can that teacher meet the needs and support all the students in that classroom at the same time? It just doesn't work. You have 30 individual students with 30 sets of unique requirements who need that one-to-one intervention. And one of the problems that teachers face, or many of the problems that teachers face, is how do you set work? How do you design and sculpt your lessons so that you can meet the needs of those individual students? And the problem is that the more work students do, the more information teachers have about those students, and therefore, in theory, the more able they are to make personal interventions. But there are only so many hours in the day to do that. And so it's my belief that together with big data and smart technology like AI, that this can be challenged and can be improved going forwards. So one of the ideas here is that technology has the ability to dynamically assess the exact point at which a student is either getting stuck or needs additional support and challenge. And I think this has a really transformative role to play in education going forwards. Because rather than all that work focusing on the teacher, having to replan, to reorganize their lessons, instead of that, technology has the ability to identify those areas that the student is struggling and then suggest appropriate next steps. And for me, this is really one of the most important developments that we're likely to see in the 21st century. And if you take this point to its logical extension, if you're able for teachers or for students to be given the appropriate next steps every time they're working, what it allows students to do is to take control of their learning and to really benefit from not only a personalised diet of curriculum-aligned materials, but the ability to take those next steps themselves without always having to go for the teachers. Now, I think it's important also to say at this point that technology is never going to replace teachers. I think it's important that AI technology, or whatever technology in the classroom, is really used as another piece or a tool in the teacher's toolkit. So that was the first part around AI in the classroom and the role that's going to play in the classroom of the 21st century. The second point I wanted to touch on very briefly was how I see assessment changing going forwards. Now, in traditional methods of examinations and assessment, students are packed into exam halls and they work on paper questions, and that's how exams are done. And underpinning that is a hugely a huge logistical effort from examiners, from schools, to print and publish that material. And I think going forwards, what we're likely to see is the digitization of the exam progress or the exam process. And for me, that's wonderful because it opens up another avenue for technology to play a role, and that's of adaptive assessment. Too often students who are sitting exams, as soon as they start, they don't know the first question, they don't know the second question, they give up. And that student who has been studying a topic for 2 years, for example, at GCSE, will then go on and get a U grade, who won't get anything out of that. Far better if we could use technology to assess live as they're going through the exam. Okay, you don't know this subject, you don't know this one, how about this? And the trick would be for the assessment to find the point in the specification that that student does know, so that we can effectively assess those students. And I think the technology is going to play a role in giving a much more nuanced and adaptive role in assessment. And that will allow a much fairer assessment process and give students the ability to show what they know, which is after all what exams are about. And so I think I'm going to draw to a finish there. So there are 2 points. I think the role of artificial intelligence in technology to adequately differentiate learning and personalize learning for students is going to be vital going forwards. And I think we're likely to see much more of a role of adaptive technology too. The final point is the one thing that can't be done at the moment, which is to use technology to mark longer answer questions. I think that's likely to change with the advent of things like natural language processing and other exciting technologies. I think the future is really bright and really exciting for technology in education. So I'm going to finish there. And again, a final thank you to Didac for offering me this opportunity. Good afternoon. Thank you very much.